All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live this Friday evening. So glad to see you here. Give it a moment for some of you guys all to arrive. All right. Hello, hello. Welcome, Jackie. Welcome, Marlene. Hi, Meredith. Okay, well, as we're waiting for a few more people to arrive, um, if y'all want to post in your comments what you guys are up to these days, what's going on, anybody want to share? Or not. It always takes a moment for the comments to come in. Welcome, Lisa. Hi, Fawn. Hi, Jessica. All right. It's a beautiful Friday here in Boulder. It's a happy Friday. Okay. All right. Well, welcome today to our Facebook Live event. I'm so excited to have you guys here. Today, I have been working up a fun topic for us to work on in our live meditation. So it looks like some comments are coming in. So, yes, Meredith is on the other side of a huge growth period. Yeah, I would say that the planet is just in a huge growth period right now. So, aren't you lucky that you're on the other side? All right. Risa's been doing a lot of gardening, bonding with Mother Earth. Yay, Aaliyah! You found a new place to live. High five. Good job. Yes. All right. Weird night of sleeping. That's going to be kind of weird for a while as everybody's working on a lot of energy right now, just globally. I will say that this is one of the most active times I've ever experienced on the astral plane these days. It is busy. People are definitely getting more sleep than they normally have, and they are to some degree having a difficult time here, and so they are spending more time up there on the astral plane, which means that there's a lot of activity up there. So the astral plane is very different these days, Austin, and so use your spiritual tools that you've been learning here at BPI and take them with you to the other side. For those of you guys that are students, please remember that these tools here that you learn at BPI are eternal. You take them with you to the other side, the astral plane, when your body's asleep and you're dreaming at night, but you also take them with you when your body dies. So to me, these tools are priceless, and I'm so grateful I have them, and I am so blessed to be able to be teaching them to all of you. All right, let's get rolling. So today's topic is about how to build your immunity. And I've been looking at the energy as the virus has been spreading, but not just with regards to physical immunity and building up your physical body's health, but a lot of what we've been working on spiritually over the past few weeks as a group. What you guys may not know is that for these Facebook Live events or for any event that we run here at Boulder Psychic Institute, we always do it on the spirit plane first before we do it in the physical plane. So we are an astral school first and foremost. We are a spiritual school first and foremost. So what that means is that before an event, I'll start to work the energy in the spiritual, otherwise known as the astral plane, and I'll start to work the energy up there, and we will start to process the growth that we're working on and what's been going on lately as we've been getting ready for this Facebook Live event. Is a lot of people have been asking about how to build their immunity, how to be strong, but not just strong physically, how to be strong mentally, how to be strong emotionally. And so I've cooked up a fun game plan today because of all of your help on the astral plane. So once we do all the work on the astral plane, then we get the download, and from there, I teach the information that we worked on spiritually in the physical plane. So this is how we run all our classes here at BPI, and this is what we're doing here today too. So a lot of you guys might have some recall or might have some levels of like, oh yeah, I kind of remember dreaming about that, or I have been working on my immunity and I've been really thinking about that. And how do I do that? And so this is where a lot of this work becomes super fun, because the whole premise of the school is built on the phrase, as above, so below. As above, so below. Whatever you do in the above spiritual space will happen in the physical below space. And that's just the way the equation, that's the way the mathematics works here on the planet. And so for those of us that understand as above, so below, we are able to work miracles and have lots of fun here, lots more fun here on the planet than most. So with that said, I've been working on a mantra for today's Facebook Live event, and I wrote it down. So with regards to immunity, right, the way that we build our immunity is we have the mantra and we work the energy, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that here today, of the phrase, I'm unity. Immunity, I'm unity. See, I wrote it down for you guys. I'm unity. Okay, been having fun with that one if you can't tell. All right, so immunity, I'm unity. If you want to have a strong immune system, physically, mentally, or emotionally, then your work, your inner work, has to do with being I'm unity, meaning coming to oneness, having wholeness within yourself. Okay, and how do you do that? How do you be one? How do you have that wholeness within yourself? Well, that's what we're going to work on in today's Facebook Live meditation. So if you guys would, go ahead and close your eyes and take a deep breath in. I'm unity, immunity, oneness. How do you do that? Because if you will, the opposite of oneness is division. And as I have been looking around the planet and looking at a lot of people with regards to what's going on these days, and really what's been going on for millennia, is that there's a big division within us, okay? And especially right now when looking at how do I build my immunity? Well, the problem is that there's no safety in division, okay? There's no safety, there's no strength in division, okay? There's strength, there's safety in oneness, right? And it's very tempting to take this concept and apply it outside of yourself. Well, we're a divided country, or we're a divided world, or look at all this division out there. And sure, that is happening out there in the big world, absolutely. But the way you're going to heal it is not out there. The way that you're going to heal it is by going within and healing the division within and bringing yourself to oneness, finding that wholeness, that unity inside of yourself. And then from there, you heal that within space. Your external environment becomes the reflection of your internal environment, right? So let's work on some oneness, some immunity within our bodies. So take a deep breath in. And mechanically, on a physical, spiritual level, what can happen is that on a soul level, you can be scattered. So your energy can be off in many, many, many different places. And so some of your energy can be off in yesterday in a conversation you had. Some of your energy can be working on a project that is due tomorrow. Some of your energy can be off in tomorrow, concerned about a meeting you're about to have. Goodness, a lot of your energy can be in the past from all of the things that happened to you in your childhood, in your teens, in your tweens, probably the worst time, right? And so our energy can be scattered. And when our energy is scattered, then we have division. So, first way to look at how to have immunity within our space is to unscatter. So, what I'd like you guys to do is just a simple consciousness exercise with those eyes closed. I'd like you to imagine your energy just starting to come back to you. You can even imagine that your body is a magnet and it has this magnetic field. And the magnet within your body just attracts all of your energy back to you from wherever it might be. And take a deep breath in and allow your energy to come back to you from the past, come back to you from the future, from whatever projects you're working on. Maybe you're already starting to think of what you want for dinner. Maybe you're kind of sleepy and your energy's off in the astral or spirit world. With each deep breath, just see if you can start to magnetize your energy back to you. The really, really cool setup here that we have on planet Earth is that our physical bodies are always in the now. Our physical bodies are always whole and always complete, right? You can't go through your day and just leave your arm somewhere. You can't toss your eyeball out into the future. The bodies are, for the most part, most of your body parts, the ones that are attached, stay there and they're whole. You have unity on a physical level. So, whether you like it or not, your body is your teacher. Your body teaches you how to be whole, how to be one energetically so that you're not scattered. So, just keep breathing, and even as I'm talking, just invite your energy, just with your intention, invite your energy to come back to you into your body. You want to start to think of your body as your teacher so that spiritually it's like you pour all your energy into this body and your body's like your jello mold and your body teaches you how to have a spiritual form. I was previously talking about how busy it is on the astral plane. And one of the things that I interact with, or the vibrations that I interact with when I'm interacting with other entities on the other side, is that oftentimes entities who don't have a form, entities that are kind of scattered or wispy, or I'm interacting with them and they're missing spiritual body parts, like they don't have an arm, they're missing, part of their face. Those are entities that are lacking their spiritual energy, and because they're lacking that spiritual energy, they've lost their potency. So through that division, that non-unity, that scatteredness, they have very little, if no potency, and that's why they come to me asking for support, asking for help. And for those of you that are building your astral out-of-body awareness, as you start to traverse the astral plane and start to be conscious of what you're doing, you'll start to recognize how you're doing on the other side is going to have a direct and immediate relationship with how your astral form is. Are you complete or are you incomplete? And if you're incomplete, you're going to have incomplete experiences over there. You're going to have a difficult time with other entities and other energies because you won't have your potency. When you're complete, you'll have that potency, you'll have that awareness over there on the other side. And then the cool thing is with that potency, with that awareness, you'll even be able to bring your dreams back into your body and you'll be able to remember what you're doing at night. Okay? So just a very simple practice with each breath, just call your energy back. You can even kind of imagine your energy being poured into your body and filling up your feet, filling up your legs, your spiritual energy filling up your belly and your chest and your torso, your face, your arms, to where it's like you're so filled up with your spiritual energy that you got this glow going on, like the high pro glow. You just have such amazing sheen that you're just glowing. So imagine yourself glowing as bright as you can, where your energy, your life force, your spiritual energy is so filled into your body. You have so much unity, so much oneness that you're just glowing. And you practice this. You use your body as your teacher so that you can have the wholeness, so that you can be one. A lot of people think that oneness has to do with oneness out there. We all need to be one with each other. We all need to be together. And that would be great, yes, and that is a great ideal, right? But the reason and the question, right, you have to kind of ask this question, why have we not been able to do that considering that everybody's talking about oneness? Why haven't we been able to, as species, come together in unity, come together in oneness, and really work together? Right? Why haven't we been able to do that? Well, because again, the answer is not as below, so above. The way you solve problems is as above, so below, right? Which means working that space from within, having oneness within yourself. And if everyone has this level of oneness, that's going to become the external reflection out there in the big world. And then we will start to see more oneness out there in the big world because we've been doing it in here first. It's a tough pill to swallow, I know, as a healer. You want to fix everything out there. But in order to really create true healing within yourself and on the planet, you got to do it in here first. Oneness in here. So take another deep breath in and let yourself just glow, shine as bright as you can. So that's the first step of creating immunity. I'm unity within your body. I'm one. I've got my energy back in my body. Once you've done that, then you have to start to confront the dichotomies within. All of the energies within your body that you have been taught that need to conflict with each other. So happiness, sadness, joy, depression, anger, peace, communication, war, okay? All of those dichotomies within, then you have to confront those, right? Same thing, we have lots of dichotomies out there in the big world, right? We have the left, we have the right, we have male, we have female, we have winter, we have summer, we have yin, we have yang, night, day, white, black, right? Lots of dichotomies out there, yes. And in order to heal those dichotomies and to have peace with those dichotomies out there, you got to work with them in here. So, how do you work with those dichotomies within yourself? What you have to do is you have to become friends with the dichotomies. Okay? Somewhere in there socially, we have been conditioned, we have been programmed to believe that dichotomies mean that there is division. Dichotomy means that there needs to be a fight. Dichotomy means that we can't get along, or the two energies at the two ends of the spectrum can't get along. And no, 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 no. That is one of the biggest lies on the planet. And to some degree, it's created such a big joke, such chaos here. Okay. No, dichotomy is not a problem. Dichotomy is beautiful. Dichotomy is the spice of life. Dichotomy is what makes everything so unique and amazing and awesome. And, it gives us all the variety. And it's why everybody's so unique and everybody's like a snowflake. Dichotomy is awesome. And when you really start to work this inside of yourself, you're going to find that dichotomies, instead of dichotomy creating division or dichotomy being a problem, dichotomies actually are designed to complement each other. They're designed to complement each other. So often I'll talk about male energy or female energy. Okay, and I'm not necessarily talking about it in terms of bodies, but just energy. Male energy generally has to do with being more active. Female energy has to do more with being receptive. Male energy is all about, being able to break things down. I call it destroy energy, which is awesome. Okay, you gotta be able to close a door or close a chapter so you can create and open a new chapter with your female energy. Okay, but these two vibrations externally, we've turned it into the war of the sexes, or we've turned it into a conflict instead of really the ultimate truth, which has to do with these two vibrations complement each other. If you can have both those vibrations and understand both strengths and weaknesses on both sides, well, then they can become a complement. They can work together. They can become teammates. So, what I'd like you to do is, with your eyes closed, I'd like you to check in with what's a dichotomy within yourself that you really struggle with. Maybe you really, 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 really want to be happy, but you struggle with depression. And in there, you have deemed depression as a negative. There's a problem with that. Bad, 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 bad. And happiness is good. Happiness is a goal. Usually with these dichotomies, we have created some level of, a scale where one end is the positive end, the other end is the negative end. And so I'd like you to, just within yourself, what's something that you struggle with? And you could even think about, well, what's something that I really don't like about myself, or I don't like within myself, or a feeling that I have, or a thought that I have? What's something in there that I really judge and I've deemed a negative? And you look, on the other end, there's going to be a positive of how you should be, right? How should you be? You'll hear me say quite often, don't should on yourself. It's not cool to should on yourself. Definitely not cool to should on other people. Okay? And what I'd like you to do is, within yourself, I'd like you to think about this dichotomy within yourself and what that negative end of the spectrum, let's use the example of depression, right? I want you to kind of dig deep here and start to explore, well, how can you start to turn depression into a positive? How can you start to turn it into something that can be more of a strength, or something that can be a gift or a teaching or a lesson? How can you, within yourself, shift the paradigm and make depression something that's maybe maybe positive is even a stretch, maybe just kind of neutral. It's just depression. And so play with that within yourself. See if you can kind of make friends with that negative thing within you that's been bothering you. If kind of thinking about it like this is a little bit too hard, maybe you can just even imagine taking that energy of the negative thing and just embracing it. They say, right, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Right? Embracing this negative aspect that's creating the divide within you. Good. And then if you would, I'd like you to take a deep breath in. And then take a few moments, and I'd like you to consider the other end of the spectrum. The positive end, the thing that you're aspiring towards, the thing that you should be more, the way that you should be more, the quality, the trait within yourself that you need to have more to become the better person that you're supposed to be. Right? That's a whole lot of expectation energy. That's a whole lot of what I might even call perfection energy, right? It's so amazing how much pressure we put on each other and on ourselves to be a certain way, to perform a certain way, and to act a certain way. Oh my goodness, you'll hear me say quite often that when I look at the energy of expectation, oh my goodness, expectation is the most violent energy I've encountered. Whether it's being applied onto someone else, and even more so when it's being applied onto yourself. Right? So as you're thinking about this aspect where you'd like to be more of it, again, I'm going to use the example of depression and then happiness. I'm supposed to be happy all the time. I need to be happy all the time. Happy, 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 happy. Right? And I'd like you to take that end of the spectrum, and I'd like you to just take a few moments and say, well, how can you kind of bring that down a few notches? How can you take the expectation energy out of it? Maybe what are some of the negatives of being happy, right? Have you ever been around somebody who's like too happy? And maybe it gets a little bit too annoying, right? Maybe they're too positive all the time. See, all of these dichotomies, you can definitely take them to the extreme and they can kind of flip on themselves, right? So start to play with that energy within yourself. How can you neutralize the other end of the spectrum and kind of say, well, you know what? Maybe I don't need to make happiness my goal. What if happiness was just this thing I kind of flow in and out of, right? Just like I flow in and out of my day, or they say that our bodies are 80% water, right? And because of that, we flow. We are beings that have flow. We are waveforms, right? So you're gonna flow in happiness and out of happiness, and maybe into depression or sadness and out of that. There's always gonna be a flow there. You take a deep breath in and even embrace that positive end of the spectrum. And allow yourself to be friends with that end. You don't have to throw all that violent expectation energy out at that end. Just be friends with it. You know, with your friends, you don't force them. You just kind of let them be, right? If you're really good friends, or if you have a friend that's a really good friend to you, they just let you be who you are. So do the same thing with that happiness or that positive end of the spectrum. Just let them be where let's just let it be. And through embracing both of those sides, I'd like you to imagine bringing both of those ends of the dichotomy, that division within yourself, and see if you can just bring those two energies together, merge them together, very much like the yin-yang symbol, right? The light, the dark, they come together. They create a balance. They create a harmony, a harmonic. They complement. And as you're imagining bringing those two vibrations together, bringing that dichotomy together, allow them to come to unity, come to oneness, wholeness. See, being whole has to do with being able to have both ends of the spectrum equally. All aspects of yourself, no matter what, being okay with all of those aspects, embracing all of it. That's wholeness. Okay? Wholeness doesn't mean that you become better or you become wholesome and somehow you're like better than thou. No, wholeness is a circle. It's embracing it all. Embracing all of yourself, all of those energies. I call that being human. Having the human experience. I don't think that being here on the planet is about becoming a saint or being, perfect in some way. Those poor saints that are on the other side, they get put on this pedestal, and sometimes I look at them and all the expectation energy we throw them from down here, and I actually feel bad for them from time to time, right? Because on a soul level, we just got them in a corner. Be this way, be a saint, be amazing, be perfect, and I'm going to strive to be like you, and just look at the pressure. That's a lot of pressure. Okay? No. The reason why they were saintly was because they actually embraced being human. All ends of the dichotomy, all ends of the spectrum. Can you do that within yourself? Good. Take a deep breath in, and then from there, just imagine embracing your whole self, just all of you, all of those aspects of that dichotomy. And notice how that feels. Excellent. Good. As a matter of fact, if there's another division or rift within yourself that you've been struggling with, it could be something to do with your body's health. Like, oh, I wish that my body didn't look this way, or I wish I didn't have this chronic thing going on. Look at the other end. Oh, I wish I was more healthy, or I wish my body was more this way. Right? Do the same thing within yourself. See if you can equalize those two. I know that it can be a stretch to do that, especially with physical ailments. Oof, physical ailments, that can be the tough one. We have not been trained as a culture, as a civilization, how to work with pain. What do you do with pain, right? Pain, feeling good. The other end might be ecstasy and pain, right? And pain's the negative, ecstasy's the positive. How do you work with that, right? Well, what is pain? Okay? Pain has to do with your body telling you, hey, I need some attention. You're not whole here. You don't have your energy here, okay? When you have your wholeness in your body, see, I was talking about being whole on the astral plane and having your potency there. Well, same thing. When you have all your energy here in the physical body, you're going to have your potency in your body, and that's how you're going to have your immunity. Okay? Immunity in the body, immunity, strong, healthy body. Okay? So when your body's in pain, that's your body saying, there's an empty spot right here. Hello, you haven't filled this in, and this is why this part of your body is now not feeling well. Okay? So you want to start to neutralize that and recognize where your body is giving you messages, where that pain is also a teacher. So I am kind of directing things a little bit more onto the body level, because I will say that although we talk about all these dichotomies here on the planet and within ourselves, the biggest dichotomy to heal, if you can heal this, you're going to be doing awesome, right? But the biggest dichotomy on the planet is that between spirit and body, above so below, right? How do you heal that? And it's not an intellectual thing to heal it. It's not an emotional thing. The way you do it is purely mechanical. You get in the body, right? So that pain or that chronic illness or whatever it is that you're experiencing in your body is telling you, hey, you need to come in, come to wholeness, come to unity, build your immunity. Good. And see if you can embrace that pain or that physical ailment and release some of the expectation of how you should be or how it needs to be all the time. And then see if you can imagine just bringing those together, just merging the two ends, decreasing the division, decreasing that gap, bringing them together like the yin-yang symbol. And take a deep breath in. And just allow that merging. The two ends of the dichotomy can be a complement right within your body. And again, recognize you do that within, that will become a reflection in your external environment. Excellent. Good, good. And take a deep breath in. And then one more time, just embrace yourself energetically. Just embrace all of you, all parts of you, everything. Even embrace that you like things and don't like things. Just embrace all of it. Big, big hug. And this is why I think Mother Earth is so amazing. Right? She's the greatest nurturer. And man, she is just embracing everyone, everything on the planet, whether the things on the planet or the people on the planet are harming her or not. She continues to give us air and water and nurturing and supports us no matter what we're up to. Imagine that massive vibration of Mother Earth doing that, and use that as your role model. Excellent, good. All right, if you would, go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes. Go ahead and stretch and open your eyes. So building immunity, how to make yourself stronger physically, mentally, emotionally, okay? It's not a personal thing, okay? It's not that you're doing right or wrong. It's not whether you totally like yourself or not. It's a mechanical thing, okay? Building your immunity mentally, physically, emotionally, okay? So that you can have a strong body during these times, so you can have a strong mind during these times, right? So that you don't have to, fall into the divisions of all the media out there, or you can find your truth in what the medical community is saying, or what government is saying. You got to have your potency to be able to do that. Have your immunity, be one, be whole within. Okay? So it's a mechanical thing. It's purely mechanics. Get all your energy in and then heal the divide. Let it all be a complement. And then from there, you'll start to see more oneness out there. You'll start to see where, yeah, the left and the right, there are times, where I kind of look at one side or the other and I'm like, I am so glad we have both, because without both sides, we wouldn't have some level of balance. Okay? So, immunity. All right, any questions? Any comments? And we'll start with questions or comments about what this meditation was about, and then we can move into questions or comments about anything personal that you guys are working on. You can do a Q&A, Ask the Psychic time. So what do you guys got for me? Wait for the comments to come in here. I have to say I really like my sticky note. I'm not a great writer. My staff will tell you that writing is not my thing. I actually grew up, my parents really directed me into the engineering end of things, numbers and science. And because I grew up bilingual, like language isn't my thing. So when I come up with something like this, there's like this part of me that's, you know, pretty proud. So please laugh with me. All right. That's a great question, Aaliyah. What is the opposite of fear? Um, the opposite of fear is love. I definitely would agree that the opposite of fear is love. Um, a more mechanical way to look at that, the opposite of fear is present time. Actually, I'm going to edit that. I liked what you said about love. And you guys who are students of mine know that I do have a problem with that phrase love, because a lot of people say the word love and there's so many different meanings behind love. So we have a language problem where, somebody says I love you and that means one thing to another person, another thing to another person. So I want to get a little bit more technical there. And the opposite of fear is actually being in present time. And Aaliyah, you've taken a bunch of classes and you know that love, right, has everything to do with meeting a person right where they are, or meeting yourself right where they are, right in present time. So let's just refine that language and make it more accurate. The opposite of fear is love. All right. Good. Any other questions? The opposite of anger is peace. Thank you, Marlene. The opposite of anger is peace. So the vibration of anger, and that's one that I had to work with for, I think I worked with the energy of anger for a good 10 years, all right? Some of you guys who've taken classes know that I grew up with an angry father and a pretty aggressive father on lots of levels. And so I grew up like, oh my goodness, I never want to be angry. I don't want to be like my father. I don't want to be like that. That is not what I want to do. It's dangerous. It's violent. It hurts people. It definitely hurt me. And oh my goodness, I did not want to touch anger with a 10-foot pole through most of my 20s. All right. And through doing this practice and using the spiritual tools that are taught here at Boulder Psychic Institute, I really came to terms with anger. And the biggest thing that I've discovered with regards to anger is that anger is your body telling you that a boundary has been crossed. Okay? Some sort of boundary has been broken. And so the body runs that energy of anger to help build up the boundary. Okay? And so when you have healthy boundaries, when you can say no and it's appropriate, when you can say yes and it's definitely a yes, when you can have healthy boundaries, okay, that is the byproduct of that is peace. Right? You can be at peace when you have healthy boundaries. And we talk a lot about boundaries with BPI. You guys see me kind of, for those of you who are students, see me kind of doing the shape of an aura bubble, right? In the very first class here that any student takes in the Self-Healing 101 class, we talk about the aura bubble, and that really has to do with having your boundary. And when you have your boundary there, then you have peace. Okay. All right. Let's see. Angela is asking about what is the energy that separates spirit and body, and why is there a dichotomy there between spirit and body? And it the reason why there's a dichotomy there between spirit and body is because socially we really haven't, like on a western level, a lot of tribal communities are very different, like the pure tribal communities, which unfortunately there's less and less of from us around for us to learn from. But a lot of those tribal communities, they're very much taught that every day you commune with spirit, you commune with energy, right? So as they're making their food, they're talking to the spirit of the food, or as they're hunting, they're talking to the spirit of the animals that they're hunting. There's always this in the day-to-day life. There's just this acknowledgement of spirit, and that's what we don't have here in our Western culture, and even now in a lot of Asian cultures or Eastern cultures too. Just planetary, modern, industrial civilization, right? We're so civilized that we forgot how to live. And so there isn't this acknowledgement that spirit is within us and that spirit is everywhere. And one of the ways that that gets severed is the teaching that, when you're born, you kind of fall from heaven, you fall from the hand of God, you're now separated, okay? And that is the social conditioning, the social programming that says that we're separated on a spirit and body level. And that is really the dichotomy to heal, right? Just because you have a body doesn't mean that you're separate from spirit, okay? Again, they're designed to complement each other. You're a human being, not just a human body. There's a complement there. And they're designed to be together. They're designed to coexist like the yin yang symbol. All right. We have a question from Fawn here. What okay, so she's talking about anger, and she's saying, well, what's going on when somebody gets angry at another person because that other person won't let them cross the boundary? Okay, and so one of my mantras over the last month, and I've been using it a lot in class lately too, is it's not personal. It's not friggin' personal. It's mechanical. Okay, it's all mechanics. And your question there, Fawn, when you ask that question, okay, I have a boundary, somebody's mad at me, they're angry at me because I won't let them cross the boundary because I'm saying no, I don't want them to do whatever, okay? And your question there, Fawn, or the energy behind your question, right? So I'm reading the words, the physical, but I'm also interacting with the spirit. The energy right behind that, Fawn, is it's personal, right? They're mad at me because they want to cross my boundary. It's all about me. No, okay? It's not personal. It's mechanical. The reason why that person is angry, okay, very mechanical. This is why it's so important to learn how to be psychic and use your energy eye so you can see the energy of the mechanics, which is that person's angry, okay? Mechanically, what's happened, this is their body right here, okay? This is their body. Energetically, they have left their body and they're trying to get into your space, right? They have left their boundary. It's a mechanical thing, okay? They have crossed their own boundary. Their body gives the mechanical instruction or the mechanical response the bodies are designed to give, okay, when a boundary's been crossed, anger. The body's angry, saying, hey, you get back in here, stop trying to get into Fawn's space. Okay? So you don't take it personal, you go, wow, look, they're really crossing their own boundary there. That must be rough for them that they don't understand how to maintain their own inner boundary. That's obviously why they're trying to come past my boundary. Okay. Right? Compassion, wow, I remember being there, or maybe to many degrees you still are there, right? Lots of compassion. Okay. Oh yeah, see, Fawn, you're in the next message talking about your mom, right? It's not personal, especially with your parents. Mechanical. Oh my goodness. I will tell you, so many things changed in my relationship with my family when I really use that mantra. It's not friggin' personal, it's mechanical. Okay? Um, Jackie's asking about my favorite places that I have been visiting on the astral plane lately. That's a very sweet question. So I will just, be completely honest. One of my favorite places to visit is the astral version of the Institute. To be honest, it's my favorite place to go on the astral plane, and it's my favorite place to go here on the physical plane. I just love the vibration of the Institute. It's grounded, the energy is set, spirit is validated here. There is no division, there is that unity. And so I definitely visit here every day in my physical life, and I visit over there every night on the astral plane. But I will say that I have been doing a lot of playing with the dolphins lately, and that's where I did that previous Facebook Live meditation of, being like a dolphin and just eating, playing, and having sex. I mean, I just think that, that's just, that's awesome. All right, Jackie, where have you been visiting? What have you been enjoying? All right, Austin is asking, how is expectation created? Is it rooted in unworthiness or unwholeness? Is its opposite worthiness or wholeness? Um, Expectation comes from the opposite of wholeness, absolutely true. The word that I want to use is lack. Okay, so expectation comes from the energy of lack. I am lacking, I don't have something, and because I can't create that energy within myself, I need to get that energy somewhere else. Okay, and so that expectation then gets formed of, this is what I need, this is what I need to chase after. It becomes like the carrot that you can never acquire, okay? The carrot that you're never, ever, ever going to get, okay? And so that expectation comes from the lack. And yeah, just like in that meditation, if you can come to unity and you can have that wholeness, that oneness within, you're going to find a lot less expectation within yourself, and you're going to be projecting way less expectation out there towards other people. Because really, when you're whole, when you have immunity, when you're unity within here, you don't really need anything from out there. And so it's like, yeah, do as you will. Cool. Everyone do what you do. I don't really need anything out there. So you guys just, do as you want. You don't need to do a song and dance or perform for me in any certain way. I'm not going to put pressure on you guys in any way. So it really becomes a pretty fun way to live. I'll tell you, I definitely have a lot more peace as I go through my life because I've cleared a lot of that expectation energy. I'm still human. There's still some that creeps up, and I'm always amused when I find it. I actually just, had a wonderful growth period earlier this week where I was recognizing or realized where I had some expectation energy about how maybe I don't present as professionally or as, I don't articulate as beautifully as some people do, and how maybe that has me look less refined or less amazing. And it was awesome to just have that kind of in my face, and I kind of bounced up against that a little bit. And really, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm super unrefined. I'm super clunky. And I think that that is what makes you guys as students or as other people out there attracted to me on some level, because it's like, I'm not going to play that song and dance. And even when I do try to play that song and dance, it just fails miserably. And so it makes me more personable, more real. Like I'm human too, and I'm not perfect. And yeah, so uh, those are great energies to clear. All right, Danny, can everyone be able to go so easily to the astral and remember? It's not about capability, Danny. The energy that you're asking that question from is everybody capable of this? And the answer to that is absolutely. Okay, every body, every person on the planet is capable of going to the astral plane and having conscious awareness and bringing that back. It's a part of our spiritual nature. It's just a given. We all have this ability. Now, where you're coming from there, Danny, is that we haven't been taught this. And so it takes some practice, it takes learning some tools, it takes being able to apply those tools, and then practice, 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 practice. And then that's how you'll be able to smoothly go to the astral plane and come back. Most of us have what I call spiritual amnesia. We've just forgotten how to do this stuff. And a lot of what the Boulder Psychic Institute is helping you guys remember your inherent spiritual nature, your inherent spiritual gifts, and how do you access those. Okay, and although a lot of people don't like to hear it, and Hollywood and the movies and stuff say that, oh, you're just born psychic, or it just falls in your lap, or just, you're innately this way. And I say pooey on those levels of conditioning and the social ideas about what it is to be spiritual or what it is to be psychic. No, it's just like any other skill. You practice, 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 practice. Okay? You don't get to Carnegie Hall in just one day. You got to practice. Now, there's some people who get to Carnegie Hall faster than others because maybe they've been working on, I don't know, the piano for lifetimes, and then they come in this lifetime and they've practiced enough in previous lifetimes. And on a physical level, most people think, oh, they just came in with this innate skill. But if you're psychic, you can go, oh, yeah, they've been doing that for lots of lifetimes. Okay? For me, the spiritual stuff, I've been working on this for lifetimes. Okay? Intimate relationships, that's not where I've been really practicing. So I'm learning a lot about intimacy in this lifetime. I'm kind of stretching myself in that direction. All right. Cool. Jackie's been hanging out at the school. Awesome. Fist bump. All right. What have been some of the most helpful dichotomies that I've healed that's been surprising to you? The biggest one, Aaliyah, has been the anger one. That has been the biggest one. And then the perfection one. So needing to be perfect and then, not being okay with the opposite. I grew up in an Asian family, and that is one of the prevalent vibrations in the Asian culture is that perfection energy. And I've actually learned to embrace perfection and not make it a negative, right? There are some things that I really want done perfectly, and I see that it works to my advantage, and sometimes it is to my disadvantage, but at least, hey, I'm conscious of that. I can work with it, okay? And through that consciousness and through that acceptance, healing that rift, the division, I'm able to work with that and mostly not have blind spots around it. And they're there, but, All right. Lisa, I'm not sure what your question is. Is that why I don't really care about breaking out of lockdown? If it has to do with not really fearing getting sick, uh, Lisa, you've been doing a lot of work over the last, many years I've been working with you. And what you have done very specifically, and this is one of the things that I've done too, is neutralize the energy of death and recognizing that birth and death. You could consider it a dichotomy. You could consider it at two opposite ends, but you bring those two together, it's a complement. And life and death, that's all a part of the yin yang. It's all a part of that cycle. And even the energy of birth is the exact same energy as death. If you've ever gone to birth or gone to a death, they're the same, right? And so what you've done is you've really brought those two together. And the phrase that I'm using is you've neutralized death. You're at peace with death. To some degree, you're ready for it. And that's a lot about, not to sound morbid or weird anyway, but it is going to sound weird. That's a lot of what this work here at BPI is about, is when you release your attachments, when you release energy and you practice letting things go, that male energy that I talked about in the meditation, destroying things, okay? When you really practice that, what you're ultimately doing in the bigger scheme of things is you're practicing death, right? Because death is the ultimate of letting go. You're letting go of the body. It's the ultimate experience here in the physical body. And we're practicing that with each release, with each level of letting go of our attachments that we work on a lot here at BPI, and I call that exploding roses. Uh, 3, you're awesome. Thank you for being honest. So 3 is a mom who is now suddenly having to be at home with her kids more than she's used to. And so she's saying that she's struggling with getting angry with her kids because they're blowing past her boundaries. What can she do to not get so mad at them so easily? So the first thing to do, 3, is to be okay with getting mad at them. Okay. I actually she's still a great friend, and she's just one of these friends that's just super real. She's kind of crass. I love the fact that she's super real. Most people find her really abrasive, but I just quite enjoy her. And she became a mom way before I ever did. And she had a pretty intense situation where her husband died at a pretty young age. We were like 23, 24, and her kids were, 3 and 5 or something like that. And she was like, oh, great, this is just going to mess up my kids, and they're probably going to go to therapy. And I was like, don't kind of all kids go to therapy? And she's like, yeah, you're right. I'm probably doing a bad job as a mother if my kids don't have to go to therapy. And what that did in that moment, and it was quite the intense, sad moment that we were both going through, to be losing her husband. He was one of my childhood friends. And it just kind of released all this energy of this expectation that she was going to have to be like this perfect mom. And to some degree, her husband dying and her recognizing that she was just not going to be the perfect mom, because there was no way these kids were going to grow up in her mind healthy because they lost their dad at such a young age. She just let all that go. And, she's probably still not the most perfect mom, but, she has a lot less pressure on herself. So that's the first thing, is like, 3, you're going to get mad. It's okay, right? Do your best to try to just run that anger up and out the top of your head. It's called Kundalini, right? Don't try to throw it, okay? And when you do throw it, forgive yourself, forgive them, right? But really what you're saying there is, they're pushing my boundaries, which is pushing me out of my boundary. And so in order to heal all that, I just have to come back into my body, okay? I've got to come in immunity. I've got to come to unity, come back into that body. And from there, you still might be angry because they're pushing a boundary. You still might need to communicate. You still might need to say things or have a consequence with those kids. But you're in your space, and you'll be doing that from within you, and it'll be a lot cleaner, okay? Be a lot cleaner. Punishment is throwing energy as a parent or as a boss or friend, whatever. Punishment is about throwing energy at the person, taking, your judgment or expectation or how they should be over there, okay? consequences, just like, well, here's just what happens, right? And I'm in my space, and you can be in your space or not, but here's the consequence of what's going to happen there. Yes, I always use the love and logic phrase. When I was a preschool teacher, I learned love and logic. It's a great parenting and teaching system, and they use the phrase, "Uh-oh, how sad." And they talk about using it to keep yourself calm as the parent so that you can come up with the consequence. So you sing the uh-oh song, uh-oh, how sad. And I use it quite frequently with my 20-month-old son, and now he is going, he'll throw something or he'll hit something, and he'll go, uh-oh, how sad. Just yesterday he was kicking the dog and going, uh-oh, how sad, as he's kicking the dog. So there we go. Busting through the dog's boundary. All right. Thias, it's okay if you fall asleep. If anybody else fell asleep during the meditation, that's totally fine. Okay? Whenever I run any class or any meditation or anything, I'm holding space for all of you guys. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm just monitoring all of you guys to make sure that on a soul level, you're still doing the exercises. Okay, so Thias, even though your body fell asleep, spiritually you're still doing the work. Okay, and it looks like for you, what was happening was, in order for you to be able to hear what I was teaching there in that meditation, or what I was proposing, in order for you to be able to hear that and start to integrate that, you had to turn the body off, and specifically turn off the analytical part of you so that you could process that. Okay? Don't worry, you can go back and listen to this again on Facebook and engage that analytical part and start to integrate that more on an intellectual body level too. But that's just where you are at with today's topic. Is I'm just going to work it still here a little bit more in the above space, and that's all right. We are where we are. Okay. Leslie's talking about being an empath and how it's hard to separate from what's mine and what's theirs. And that is an amazing first step as an empath, is to just ask that question. Is this mine? Is this not mine? Is this mine feeling? Is this not my feeling? Is this my thought? Is this not my thought? Really, awareness is key. Bring your awareness to this. And from there, there's some tools here that we use at the Institute to help you start to separate that out and to help you start to release out. But generally speaking, for any empath who's watching this, if you ask that question, is this mine, not mine, and you intuitively, or yes, not mine, and you get that answer right away, then whatever tool that you have in your toolkit from whatever schooling or whatever, do your best to let go of other people's energy. Okay, the biggest illness that we have is foreign energy in our space. So our bodies are designed to succeed, and our bodies are designed to have our own fuel in our own bodies. No one else is in there. So when you have other people's energy in there, we call it foreign energy here at BPI. What that does is that creates not success in the body, because it's the incorrect fuel for your body. So good job on you for recognizing when it's not yours. Then you release it. Is there the opposite of romance? Well, when you say that question, Aaliyah, the energy behind romance, when you're saying that, is the Twitter-pated, I'm just so excited, I'm so in love, I'm so blah, 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 right? And so that vibration what oftentimes has us be attracted to people in new relationships, what has us be interested in them is usually our neuroses. Here at BPI, we call them your matching pictures. Okay, so romance, at least at that level, the Twitter pated level, the one that gets you all kind of worked up. Okay, I hate to be so non-romantic and so Capricorn about it, but those are called your neuroses. So with that question you're asking there, Leah, I would say that the opposite of romance there is truth. Okay, you being in your truth. And when you're really in your truth, that's where you have a different level of romance or love or relationship with a person. And it's different, it's deeper. And for those of you that are in longer term relationships where that romance phase is done, for those of you who've been able to keep that relationship, it's because you've gotten into that truth space. Intimacy isn't necessarily just about being able to look into somebody's eyes and eye gaze and do that stuff. Intimacy is like, hey honey, we're out of toilet paper, come bring me some. Right? Intimacy is like, okay, here's this like weird thing, will you check it out, like whatever. That's also intimacy, and you could call that romance from a very true and real place. So, all right. Phoenix, the reason why people throw anger at each other is just very simple. We haven't been trained otherwise. And a lot of what I see me and the other instructors doing here at BPI is teaching the world how to operate according to what I call the manual. And most people have not read the manual. And part of the manual says, keep your energy within yourself. Right? To thine own self be true. Keep your energy in there. And most of us are just simply not taught how to do that. All right. So we have a question. What is the opposite of grief? Grief is the vibration of loss, of I've lost something and I can't get it back, right? So the opposite of that is, kind of filling up your cup, right? So I have loss, I have an empty cup versus I have a full cup, okay? Even if you have to make that cup smaller. The opposite of humiliation. What is the opposite of humiliation? Humiliation on a mechanical level basically is on a soul level. You've left your body, okay, because something happened and you became embarrassed of yourself, all right? And through that embarrassment, you left. You're like, good luck, body. You just humiliated yourself. I'm out of here. Good luck. Parents do that with their kids. Kids do that with their parents. Ever been embarrassed of your kids or embarrassed of your parents, right? That embarrassment is like, I'm out of here. You're on your own. Okay. So the opposite of humiliation would be, standing in your power, standing in your mistake, owning you in that moment. Okay. Owning your kids, owning your parents in that moment. Quick story, I was in Japan visiting my mom. I was probably like 19 or 20, and I had just started down this path of doing the work here that we teach at BPI. And my mom and I went to like the Japanese version of a dollar store, and they had this little tiny plastic kids chair, and it was sitting on the ground. I was like, oh mom, this is such a cute chair, we should buy it. And I sat down on it and it broke. And this is in Japan, right? I mean, not only would that be humiliating in the US, but in Japan, right? Like prim, proper Japan, right? And I just flat out in the middle of this tiny little store in the middle of Tokyo where people are like, I ate it, and then people are having to kind of like step over me and step around me, and the Japanese people are just trying not to look, and they don't laugh about that. They're just kind of in judgment and not sure what to do with me. And my mom literally just left the store and went home. I was like, Mom, where'd you go? She just completely left her body, left the building, and I had to deal with my own humiliation energy, get back into my body, pick myself up, and go pay for the chair. So, all right, one last question. What is heartbreak? What is heartbreak? Francisca. It looks like as I'm looking at your energy, what you're showing me on an energetic level is that heartbreak has to do with being rejected and feeling rejected by the other person. And if we take what we talked about today, how you want to look at your outer world and recognize that it's a reflection of the inner world. So even though somebody rejected you, right? Rejected you on some level, where have you then rejected yourself? And you want to heal that level of rejection. And that's really about immunity, and healing that level. Okay? So you don't want to reject yourself. All right, everyone. Thank you guys for being here. We have a brand new Self-Healing 101 class starting on June 1st. 4-week class. It's only $100, but you can take the first week of class for free. So please send your friends. I just see that right now, everybody needs this. Or everybody needs something spiritual. And I will say that right now, kind of the conventional, the traditional, those answers aren't really working. So, why not go to psychic school or go to a psychic. I can't tell you how many readings I'm doing right now for people who have health issues, and nobody can figure out what's wrong. No doctor can figure it out. And so they're like, well, I guess my last resort is a psychic. And usually I'm able to figure out what's going on with them. And so send people, they may not have, they're wanting an answer. They're wanting something. They're needing direction. We got that here. Okay. For those of you that are interested, our postgraduate students are going to be offering transmedium healings. Those are channeled high vibrational healings on Wednesday, May 27th. We'll also be doing our free aura and chakra healings on Friday, May 29th. So lots of things to participate in online. I really hope to see you guys all there. There's videos here on the Facebook page. You can find them on our blog on our website. If you want to go back and listen to some old ones, there's also some interviews. I've been doing some of those lately, so check it out, share them, share this work with your friends, and then you have other people to talk to about this stuff, or you can, be with other people who are in their bodies or who want to learn how to be in their space and they don't want to throw energy at you. Okay. For those of you who have been having difficult time with your family, get them in and take classes. I can't tell you how many families we've had come through here and take classes, and it's a generational karmic family karma healing, and it's super beautiful and amazing. So thank you guys again, and we'll be doing another one of these in about a month. As always, if you have topics or ideas, send them my way. Otherwise, I'll be coming up with phrases like this. Nobody emailed, well, one person emailed me today about the topic, so this is what happens when you don't email me. All right, everyone. Thank you. Have fun. Enjoy yourselves out there. Have your immunity. I'm unity. That's your mantra. Be strong on the emotional, physical, and mental levels. I'll see you guys again here soon. Thank you.